Marquis, you logging everybody on? All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We hope you will enjoy this presentation. This is the inaugural debut of branding in its formal context. We've been doing this session for a while. Actually, I've been doing this thing for about 2 years. So we've been doing, now that we've actually got a core team of our NCAP professionals today, we're excited about really launching this session in a formal way, turning this into our business accelerator. So for those who are members, this is your first credit hours. For those who are non-members, we will credit these hours to you when you become members, okay? So you can say that you've gone through this session. And we want your feedback, too, in terms of how we can improve. So I'm kind of nervous because we've got Ms. Tawana Woods, sales extraordinaire back there. And, you know, she's real serious. And then we got Coach Hector back there, too. They're like night and day. You know, they always have this conversation about marketing versus sales. So we got two experts right there that will hopefully begin joining in on this program. So I'm just going to briefly use this as an introduction about the importance of actually having a marketing plan. Marketing plan is very, very crucial to your business plan in and of itself. A lot of people don't spend a lot of time thinking about a marketing plan. And more than ever, with the disruption that's happening in social media and things that can be done in social media, it's very important that you have a marketing plan more than ever, just to really kind of condense down some of the many channels that are out there for you guys. So what we really want to do through this session is to kind of introduce you to individuals within the chamber that I've asked, you know, hey, I want you to kind of simplify for our members, kind of take them through a basic marketing need-to-know type thing where they can really create a branding identity package for themselves. So that's what we really want you guys to have a takeaway for it. So when you really think about conveying your message, you know, we're really talking about really creating a brand for you. So we want you guys, when you hear about branding, and it's going to be covered, we want you guys to think about it in terms of your features and your benefits that you offer. And better yet, you know, what makes your company different from the rest of the companies that are out there? Your target customer is very, very important. Y'all can get that one off. Very important that you target in on your customers. So we're going to be talking about, you know, some of your target customers, how you need to gather information about them, understanding the buying habits and demographics. That is so much information that's out there that you can really obtain from social media and those people who are your core customers. What do they like about your business? Why do they support you? What magazines do they read? What media outlets are they spending the most time in? Those are some things that I want you to consider when you get these presentations today. Specific in terms of marketing things, you know, we're going to look at your website, online advertising. Do you use an email newsletter concept? Social media. What social media opportunities are you using? Public relations. When do you actually need a PR professional to help you, or what can you do on your own? Direct mail. Direct mail is still needed. We have a diverse marketplace out there, so everybody's not on social media. So, what are your boomers and older clientele who support you? What are they doing? How they're receiving the messaging and the information? So you got to diversify that. We're going to touch on that today. I love this right here. I found this infographic which talks about the marketing mix, and I love how it really talks about print, mass media, online, and events. So these are your core offerings when you're thinking about it. And I love how it's about print, mass media, online, and events. So these are some of your core offering concepts. When we're talking about print, we're talking about ads, direct mail, brochures. That's the physical stuff. When we're talking about mass media, we're talking about radio, outdoors, television, those types of things. These are some of the things that, through our partner relationships, that we're going to be making sure that our members can access from a discount perspective. We're going to be talking about the blogs and email solutions and things of that nature. And then don't forget about events. Events that you may sponsor or have sponsored for you, or trade shows that you can participate in. All trade shows are not doing the same. So we're not really going to touch on the event part of it yet, but those are going to be some additional conversations that we're going to have about it. When, where, and how much. Very, very, very important. You have to be very selective about where you spend your dollars. I've heard horror stories of individuals that just opened a restaurant, they got a $10,000 radio remote. Did that really work for them? How many people did it really bring in? Did that translate into sales and customers? I'm not going to mention any names. I mean, we had an opportunity to participate in the event, and our sponsors didn't, they was like, well, no, that's too much money for the cost of the event. I mean, it was like almost $20,000. Was that going to translate to 93 members? No, it wasn't. So that's why we got pushback on that event. So it's very, very important that you target your message and determine the frequency, if it's going to be monthly or quarterly in terms of how you're going to invest in it. Tracking your results, I kind of mentioned that. The average company, when they're looking at, I think I read somewhere where it was like any companies that's less than $5 million, they spend about 8 to 7% of their marketing budget. A retail company starting out spends about 20% of its marketing budget. So your budgets are going to vary from industry to industry. So it's very important you understand what are your competitors spending in the marketplace, determine what works for you, and where are you in your business stages. So our presenters today, I want to introduce Emealia Hollis. Ms. Hollis, raise your hand. She'll be our next presenter, so we're excited to hear from Emealia Hollis. Followed by Africa Allah, who is the CEO and president of Digital Media. E. Hollis Designs is her company. That's Emealia. And Africa Allah, she's digital media manager for Distinctive Impressions, long-term member. I mean, most of our social media is ran by Miss Allah's company, and we really appreciate that. And Eboni Green, we hope she'll make it today. I'm not sure if she's going to make it today, but we'll make sure that we get some information from Miss Green. So without further ado, I will now take a seat, and Ms. Hollis, take it away.
Okay, good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, everyone. And thank you for coming out, and thank you, Michael, for giving me the opportunity to present today. I want to actually step over here so I can click the button. Oh, can I have a clicker, please?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Okay. So, of course, I am Emealia Hollis. I am the owner of E. Hollis Designs. I am an analytical graphic designer and brand specialist. So, a little bit about me. I've been doing my business for the last 5 years. And I actually went to school for accounting and graphic design. So that's kind of how I tie in that analytics. I know it's kind of like, what? Accounting was my parents' idea, graphic design was mine, and I won. So from there, that's how I got into branding, because branding is about tying a whole cohesive plan or image together. And with analytics, you have to make everything flow. So from here, I'm going to just touch on some things you want to think about with keeping that consistent brand identity. So the difference between a brand and branding, does anyone know? that an idea?
Your brand is something like Coca-Cola, but branding is making it more popular. It's having it become a known thing. The brand is just the thing itself, and branding it is setting it out, is letting it become more prevalent in everybody's mind.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good definition. And I'll just say, piggyback off of her, a brand is that centralized image that everyone sees and an emotional response that you instill into your clients. That's your brand. Branding is what people say when you are in the room, whether it's good or bad. So what we want to do is make sure that your branding is going to be conducive to getting you more clients and getting you more awareness within your marketplace. So this is what I want to touch on today. What's in a name, the importance of colors within your company, how to have an effective logo design, and the purpose of a brand identity system. So what's in a name? You can start off with just your personal name for your business, or you can go into something that describes what you do. I would say when you're brainstorming, write it all down, get it out of your system, get it on paper so that you can move on to the next thing. You can mix and match whatever you like, whatever works for you. Keep it KISS, which is keep it simple, stupid, is something that you can incorporate in when you're doing your brainstorming. So don't make it too complicated. Don't make people have to figure out what you do. Make it straightforward as possible, but make it memorable. So when you're looking at these examples, Joey's Pizza, I know it's hard to see, Joey's Pizza versus Joey's Taste of Italy. Which one would you want to go to?
Joy's Taste of Italy.
Right, why?
It sounds
Yes.
more authentic.
It makes you want to eat it. It makes you hungry when you see it, right?
Because Joe's Pizza is just so mediocre.
Yeah, it's like everybody has Joey's Pizza on the corner. It's like, okay, there's one too. Why should I go to you over someone else? So that's one thing you want to think about when you're thinking of your name. And make sure, please Google it. Make sure no one else is taking it. Make sure the domain is available. Make sure it's not registered on the Secretary of State's website. And make sure it's in the it's not in the trademark database. Because if you get to a point where you want to trademark it, which you should, FYI, you want to make sure that it's available. You don't want to have someone else's name or someone has your name and you've been doing it for 5 years and they've been doing it for 1 and they sue you. So just keep that in mind. So tagline, mottos, mantras, all those are things that's going to describe what you do, why people should work with you. So for instance, expect more, pay less. That's Target's tagline. It tells you why you should go in there. You're going to expect more and pay less. It's not cheap, as we all know, but you're going to pay less than what you expect. It's the competitive Walmart, and you know what you get when you go to Walmart. So you want to expect a little bit more. That's why you go to Target. And Apple, think differently. That is their tagline, but that's also their mantra. When you think about Apple, they are always innovative and thinking about how can we create a product that interacts with our clients differently or interacts with our customers differently. How can we enhance their lives? So if you want your clients, but your employees to think a certain way when they're making decisions, you want to think about a mantra, things that are going to influence their decisions while they're working for you and helping you build your brand. So with colors in your logo, you want to think about, or just your company in general, you want to think about the psychology behind those colors. Different colors can invoke different emotions with us. So you want to think about what you want to be known for. And these are just some examples of some primary colors. And I'll give you an example. When you look at McDonald's, what colors are McDonald's?
Red and yellow.
And why do you think it's red and yellow? Close, very close. A lot of people think it's by ketchup and mustard, right? That's what it is. And it's actually, red is a color that induces hunger. If you think about it, can anybody name a fast food restaurant that doesn't have red in their logo?
Subway.
It actually does. Think about the chicken.
Subway.
Yes, Subway. And Taco Bell. I'm wondering if anybody's going to cook that. But yellow is also a color that makes you agitated. When you look at it, you don't want to look at it too long. Yes, it makes you happy and all that stuff, but it also makes you want to just keep moving on. So what they want you to do is come in, get hungry, eat your food quickly and leave. So you have to think about that when you're doing colors. Do you want to be known for make people hungry? You want to make people feel calm? Think about all of that when you're picking your colors. So when you're creating, or when you're a designer, is creating the logo. Okay. You want to think about these 5 principles. So make it simple, memorable, timeless. You want to make it versatile and appropriate. So when you think about logos, the really big popular ones, can anyone name some popular logos out there?
Coca-Cola.
Nike.
Okay, Coca-Cola. When you think about and I'm going to throw in Nike.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, when you see Nike, you instantly know it's Nike. You can instantly say, okay, this is timeless. It hasn't changed over the years, and it's appropriate for what they do. They do sports, they do health, and they do all these different things, and it works for them. You don't want Nike to look like Toys R Us, because that's not what they do. They're not playful. They don't, well, in a sense of
not
sports,
like
yeah. But when you think about those brands, Toys R Us looks like who their target market is. It's the kids. They want them to have fun when they're coming out and become a kid again. So you want to think about all those things when you're thinking about a logo. If you do some consulting, you're helping people create. I know someone said they do business solutions. Don't have a wrench in your logo. Yeah, you may fix something, but you don't literally fix things. So think that it should make sense, whatever you're doing. So your brand identity system is going to create a unified look and feel for your company and your brand. And these are just some examples of some elements that piggyback off of that. But it's just that system that has all the different things that's going to make you look consistent as possible. That is key. You do not want your brand to be bipolar. When someone sees you one day, you should look exactly the same. If you see Sally one day and you see Mary the next day, you're going to be like, I don't know who you are. I'll talk to y'all later. But these are some items you want to include in there. So your colors, how you want your logo to be used, how you want a typeface, or whatever typeface you're going to have as your brand standard whenever you do any kind of advertisement. And please, 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 if you don't know what a Pantone color is, come talk to me, because I will share a little bit more of why that's important. Because when you have your colors, you want to look the same every time you do it, from a t-shirt to a flyer. You want it to look exactly the same. So that's something you want to definitely include in your offerings. And you want to have it as a ready, print-ready, web-ready PDF, something that's easily accessible to whoever you go to for your vending, so that no one has any excuse on why they aren't following your guidelines. And these are some examples of some brand identity that I've done. This is a client. They have a healthy vending company. And you see that it looks like she's doing something that's health related. I like to tie a little message in what I do, but so it's a reason behind this. But you see how it all looks cohesive and it all flows together. She looks like the same person. And you want it to look the same not only in print but in web. So if you have a website, your website should still look like who you are, what you do, and why people should work with you. And this is just an infographic that I created. So the company is my logo, whatever you want that to be. And these are just some examples how it branches out, because this is a living, breathing thing. Think of it as your baby. You want your baby to look good wherever they go. So they have the colors that they use, you have your business card, an advertisement to your website. Everything all matches together. And it's its own type of organism that you have to monitor and making sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. That's what you do, right? Make sure they do what they're supposed to do, right? I hope so. So after you have it all together, you want to make sure you monitor it. Make sure whatever communication is going out there that's about you, you want to make sure it's what you want to say. You want to make sure that you're staying true to who you are and you still are looking consistent, whether that's your web content or any of your printed content that you have. And you make it to a point where you outgrow your brand. Things change, the market change, your product and services change, and you may have to refresh your look. So these are some examples of some companies that have updated their looks over the years, and they still look familiar. So familiarity and consistency, once again, is key. So AOL, as we all know, they needed to update with the times. So they updated their logo, and this is what they look like. You still know it's AOL. It's not too different, but it does give you that refreshed look, like, oh, they're doing something new and different. Let me check out what they're doing. So thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to stop me or flag me down if you want to get more information on how to make sure your brand is not bipolar and you want to get back on the right track. And also, I'm going to be doing a webinar in a few weeks. And if you go to this link, you can sign up for it. It's going to be online. It's going to be like Google Hangouts. So if you have any questions, if you want to learn more, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on what I talked about today. Go ahead and sign up. Anybody have any questions for me?
So you provide this as a service?
I do.
Your business?
Yes, it
If
is.
we wanted to contact you, we would go to one of those listings that you had on the bottom?
Yes, I do have cards.
Okay.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any other questions? Anything that you think I didn't touch on enough?
I would say great presentation. Came out the box real strong. We know that the chamber is bipolar currently. And, we're excited about the MCAT team coming together and definitely working them probably participating in the branding process of the chamber some state for that. Because we do need to not be bipolar. So, how many of you guys got bipolar companies? Based on what you guys see today? Brand, your colors, are they all concise? Yes. Have you got, are your colors the same there presented the site? So, definitely a follow-up. Part 2 is definitely needed. So I'm excited you're doing a webinar. So I'm definitely signing up for it. Anybody have any questions?
Can you go back to the last one?
Sure. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So once you have, what would be the first step in branding yourself? Obviously, everybody wants to go get that logo. That'd be our first step.
Put the infographic back up. That was real. I like this song.
This one?
Yeah. Kind of what's our, like, take us real quick what step 1, 2, 3 is in branding ourselves.
So first you want to figure out who you are and what you do. So, and realize who your target market is. Sometimes, like for instance, the client that I showed, she does healthy vending. And she thought that her target market was people that like to eat healthy. No, it's not. Your target market are the people that you're going to provide service to. So the people that are in health and hospitals that are going to make those decision making, or people that are in schools, the principals, those are going to be your target market. So you want to think about that, think about what would attract them, and then you start to tie in who you are, your mission and vision, and then you go to the logo. Then it branches out from there. Because you can't, I forgot to mention this, you can't do a brand identity system until you have a logo.
And what if you already have a logo? Will you just kind of go in and check everything and make sure that we're not dysfunctional?
Yes, I will make sure that you can, because if I ask you who you are and what you do, you should pause.
Oh.
So if you call and say, well, I'm not sure, it's like, no, then we need to start over. You have a logo, but does it match what you do?
Do you create logos?
I do. This is one.
And you can tweak what we have.
Right. I can. So before I go into saying, oh, you need to be brand, it's like, no, let's look and see what you have. You may not need to, but it's starting off with really the basic needs. I like to talk to people and figure out what their needs are, not just throw stuff at them.
Right.
Yes.
Like going with the example of AOL, which is 3 letters, right?
Right.
What's your thoughts on your logo being letters? Because like you use kind of an acronym too, but that's like your logo. What are your thoughts on that?
Really, can you pull that first one? Notice that here, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh. So, number 1, it shouldn't be random letters. For some reason, AOL just kind of fits. It just works for them, but it shouldn't be random letters. Because if your business is AFC, okay, but why should I care? So when you do an acronym, you can, but make sure that you put a meaning behind it.
So like my company's name is Behavioral Management Group.
Okay.
And I do BMG. But now BMG is used in other places.
It is.
So, they're music companies, they do whatever. So, like, private conversation.
We're all learning from that.
I mean, I'm wondering, And I mean, it has behavior management with Ellis underneath it, but what's prominent is BMG.
And you want to make sure people don't get confused because there is someone out there that has a very strong brand that's using it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I will say the name is a bit long.
Okay.
So if you could shorten that down, that would be awesome. Not just with acronyms, but just the name in general, because it's not something that just rolls off your tongue. You want to make sure it's memorable. I would say if you already know someone else is out there doing it and they're strong and they're promoting it, I would stray away from that. But if you do have an acronym and you change it to, like I said, AFC, you want to make sure that it's going to mean something. Like maybe you say putting the AFC into health or something. But you want to make sure that, like, whatever your tagline is, it describes what you do so when people see it, they know why it's AFC. I hope I answered your question. Okay. If not, anyone else? Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to move your attention. It should be on the keyboard. Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak from over here. We're going to look at this. We are doing this entire presentation via Google Drive. In addition to that, we are streaming live. There are people watching from Missouri, California, and the Bahamas currently. So not only are you guys getting this education today, there are people that are asking questions online, and we're going to participate with their questions as well. The wonderful thing about it is, again, we're talking about social media. So before we get started, I want you guys to, by show of hands, tell me how many of you use the Google ecosystem?
For your business?
Just in general. Do you use Gmail? Do you Google, the search engine? Do you have the Google Plus? See, I said Google ecosystem. What is that? Okay, so this is where it starts. This is where all of the fun begins. Now, as you saw in the presentation, my name is Africa Allah. I am the general manager of DI Radiocast New Media Network. I'm also co-founder of Distinctive Impression. And like Amelia, I've worked in design, radio, TV, print. So I've had plenty of jobs over the past, I couldn't believe it, right, for 20 years. Gosh, I looked at my resume the other day. I'm like, oh my God, I started this 20-something years ago. So over the past 20 years, I've been in multimedia production, everything from graphic design all the way up to new media production, which is now the same principles but only housed on a digital platform. So today we're going to talk about this new introduction of social media. And we're going to talk about the Google ecosystem. And again, like I said, the Google ecosystem is pretty much your Google Plus, your Gmail, the search engines, YouTube, and so forth. How many of you Google? Like Google is now, yeah, right? Google is now a verb, right? You better Google it. Yeah. Google me. Like we use Google. Like I'm gonna Google. Yeah, let's just Google it. You know. So it's become a part of our lingo. Everything that we do, right? Like now, when you meet somebody, what's the first thing you do? Hell yeah, I Google everybody. I Google everybody. How many of you have a Gmail account? By show of hands, come on everybody, let's get involved. Okay, so everybody in here has a Gmail account. How many of you are using Google Plus? How many of you even know you have a Google Plus? Okay. Well, if you have a Gmail account, you automatically have a Google Plus. The only thing you have to do is enable it. Now, if you have a Gmail account, you have Hangouts. You have a Google Drive that gives you 15 gigs worth of storage. You have the ability to have a Google Voice. Melanie can attest to how Google Voice has saved her life and changed it. And also, if you have an Android phone, it automatically comes with Google applications on here. So you sign up for a Gmail account, you start off immediately with a business tool. You have an assistant in your pocket, on your laptop, and on your desktop. Today we're going to talk about that, but first and foremost, as Michael said, Brand Me AMBCC educates members on branding positions and strategies within the organization. And today we are going to look at the Google ecosystem. As a brand is set for expectation, memories, stories, relationships that take together account for the consumer discussions and choose one product or service or another, right? So on social media, how are you telling your story? How are you branding yourself? Emealia talked about brand identity, right? So you have your brand identity. There's a certain thing that you always want to do. You always want to make sure that your avatar is the same across all social platforms. Now, that doesn't mean that that's a little profile picture. That's the avatar, the little profile picture. You want to make sure that that's the same across all social platforms, so that when people Google you, they see the same image and they know they can identify you. Now, they've introduced this other aspect of the social sphere, where if you look on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those, they have this top portion that allows you to put in an image, right? Those images, you can change those up and you can use those as your branding space. So that content that Emealia will produce for you is where you'd be able to use that space. Now you have to keep in mind that every social platform has a different space. So, how do you use Google? We've already established that you all use the search engine. Most of you have a Gmail account. Building an online presence. This is important. You have this powerful tool, and you're not doing anything with it. How many of you don't have a Google Plus account or haven't activated your Google Plus account? By show of hands. We are going to change that. You know why? We have to change it, because Google is the #1 search engine. YouTube is the #2. They're both owned by Google. So if you have a Google Plus account, guess what? You're going to come up. If you're conversing every day on social platform on Google Plus as a social platform, and people search that, your information is going to come up in search. So if you're talking about, what's your industry?
Taxes. So
if you're talking about taxes on your Google Plus account, and it just so happens to be tax season, and somebody puts in taxes in Georgia, the likelihood of your conversation popping up is higher because you're engaging on that social platform. It makes sense, right? They are the #1 search engine. They're #1 and 2. Come on. It doesn't take rocket science to kind of figure out why it's imperative for you to do that. In addition, SEO has changed. Search engine optimization, and this is by accident, truly, purely by accident, because search engine optimization is pretty much about how active and constant your content is on your website, right? Which is why 3-4 years ago we were encouraging people to have dynamic websites. And the reason for having dynamic websites was so that you can bring content, so that your content is constantly going over. Because if you go to a website and it's the same information, how likely are you to go back? Like, you already know it's there.
Right.
So you don't have any reason to go back. But if every day you go there and it's something new and it's something entertaining or something of value and relevance to you, you're going to return. Well, social media trumped SEO. Now they have this thing called social SEO, right? Social optimization. And what that is the conversations on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus are what brings your brand to visibility. The key is integrating all of that stuff into your website, making sure that those conversations have cross-dialogue. So it doesn't take anything to activate your Google Plus account. Just when you go home, log on, activate your Google Plus account, and start using it. Share search. Again, searching the information, you know, they have hashtags, right? You guys have heard of hashtags? How many of you heard of hashtags? Heard of them? How many of you use hashtags? How many of you understand what a hashtag is? Okay, so I seen two people that understand, and then everybody's like, well, I know what it is. Don't be afraid. A hashtag is a way to track conversations and communication, right? So currently I'm running a campaign with a client, the SCTPN out of New York City. It's Sickle Cell Awareness Month in September. We've been doing this campaign called One Viral Voice for the past 4 years. And what we did was we tapped the shoulders of a lot of celebrities to kind of support sickle cell by mentioning it and saying, you help speak volumes, hashtag One Viral Voice. But what One Viral Voice does is it allows us to have that same conversation with AIDS, cancer, whatever the disease is, but having a conversation about it through our community. Now, if you search that hashtag One Viral Voice, you find it on Facebook, Twitter, of course, Google Plus, right? And also now that you have places like Instagram and stuff like that, you're starting to pull up the images attached to it. So when we're at these concerts and when we're at these events and we hashtag One Viral Voice, what happens is the photos from it comes up. So we are now your general population are your photojournalists. The people that attend your conferences or come to your shows or your events or whatever it is, they are now reporting on your behalf, all the while building your brand. And all of this is through social search and sharing, right? Again, Google Plus offers free online solutions. Like I said, when you purchase your Android phone, when you sign up for a Google Gmail account, you automatically get these services. Of course, you get them at the limited, but I mean, the things that you can do with the limited access, gosh, you can change your entire business overnight. Increase your presence online, Gmail, Google Places. Google Places, okay. So, we talked about search, we talked about hashtags, we talked about the social platform, which is now known as Google Plus, right? But let's talk about Google Places. The beautiful thing about Google Plus is everything is involved in it. You have interactive communication by way of Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts has now allowed you to generate revenue from help, Google Help, which is another aspect of Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts also introduced Showcase about 3-4 weeks ago, which allows you to promote companies while you're in a Hangout. Right now, we're in a Hangout, and people can go to the Hangout, watch the Hangout, and click on the AMBCC and engage with the AMBCC's website while we're in the Hangout right now. All right? In addition to that, people can ask questions, they can call in, but wait. If you are located if you have a stable location and you're not a virtual company, you can create a Google Plus business page, which gives you so much more. You can track your analytics, your communication. You can tie to your YouTube so that all of your YouTube information is tracked. You can see who's watching, who's paying attention, and you can be placed on Google Maps. And all of these conversations that you're having on Google Plus, on the Google Plus business page, are now searchable, and they redirect people to your physical location. Isn't Google amazing?
Yes. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know how we've done it without it for so long. Google! I should work here, right? I know. They're not even as excited as I am about this stuff. So, AMBCC Google Business Solution Series. We are going to rock your world, okay? And when I say rock your world, I mean I'm talking like Kiss, long tongue, everything, 7 ears, everything, okay? And we are going to rock your world. And how are we going to rock your world? We're going to show you how these new media platforms can actually benefit you and help you improve your search engine visibility. You know, again, I encourage everyone to create a presence not only on social, because as you all know, in 2006, we lost a very special person, MySpace.
Oh my God, I never can get on them.
What happened? When I went to conferences, everybody was like, oh, if you don't got a MySpace, it ain't happen. And then what happened? One day it wasn't there. So just because you build your social presence, just remember that these things, like everything, crumble and fall. Have a website. Integrate your social presence into your website so that in the event that this great monstrosity called Google evolves, you still have a place in the social sphere. All right? I need you guys to understand how important it is. So while I'm telling you about this wonderful application or apparatus or assistant called Google, just know that it's imperative to have your own product. Make sure that your product is the hub of your communication, and these places that you're distributing your content to are just that, distribution outlets. Think of it as you as the manufacturer and they are the distributors, okay? Because I've been there. When I first started, I had over 1 million people following me on a particular platform, and I woke up one morning to go put up my content, and it didn't exist. And there was no forewarning, nothing. I had to start over. It took me 2 years to get back to that place. So we went over that. We talked about search, learn with Google. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Google solutions, okay? Your business on Google for free. You like that, right?
Yes.
Free. Can we all stay together? Free. No, I need you guys. Deep breath. Free. Your business on Google for free. What?
How do they make money?
Oh, they make money, girl. They make money. They've acquired acquisitions and acquisitions. That's really what Google is all about, acquisitions, right? When you get on Google, like I said, the first thing is when you get on Gmail, you have all of these applications available to you. But the problem is, you know, with everything, especially in this digital area where everything is moving so rapidly, we get so overwhelmed and we don't even understand how to use it. Like, really and truly, I don't know the last time I used an operating system like a Windows-based product. My entire life exists in the cloud. And all on Google. Google Docs allows you to edit PDF files. It allows you to convert files into PDFs so that if you write a document, oh, I hate this. I'm good. I'm good. So, PDF, it changes it to PDF. In addition to that, it allows you to do presentations like we're doing now, and you can do spreadsheets. It has applications inside the applications and extensions that allows you to actually calculate content in there, draw up infographics. Everything that you want to do can be done right in there. All right? So,
Can you type documents in Google Docs?
of course, it's Google Docs. You type documents. You can type documents. You can actually do presentations. You can create forms. You can write databases. Like anything that you do on the Microsoft platform, you can actually do in the Google Drive, in the Google Docs system, which is now Google Drive. I'm sorry. It is now called Google Drive. It initially started out as Google Docs. It is now called Google Drive.
You can share stuff, we can edit it.
Oh, the beautiful thing about, exactly, the beautiful thing about it is, like, if we're having a session, a group session, this makes college, like, so much better, right? If you're having a group session, you can actually have 5 or 6 people as many as you want, really, in the same document, and you guys can edit it as you go. So you can get on a Hangout, which is a video or a call conversation, get on a Hangout, you guys can hash out your ideas, and you can actually edit as you're going. So you can say, okay, you're going to take page 1, I'll take page 2, you take whatever. I've done it with script writing. I sat down with my co-writers, and we've actually sat down and wrote an entire script collectively, and they're in different places. So again, that's the possibility. We talked about being found on Google. Now through the Google Plus platform, and this is, I suggest that you really utilize your Google Plus. People say, well, get on this, get on that. No, you can get on it from one central location, which is another thing. We want to consolidate all of your information so that you can track it from one central location, which is the same thing where I say make sure that your website is your hub. But you want to track everything from one central location. So if you get on Google Plus Business, you can be found on your Google Maps by creating a Google Plus account that allows you to have your location. It's going to ask you to verify this. They'll send you a postcard, and in that postcard, you'll put in the number inside your account, and it will verify that you are actually that person. At that point, the conversations that you have here can also be used for rating systems. This will go more in depth in the series, but there are other ways that you can then integrate that into your website. And we'll talk about that over the course of the series. We talked about Gmail. Everybody pretty much in here says that they have a Gmail. So it all starts with Gmail. And I really think that we should have started, that should have been the first slide. It all starts with Gmail. It all starts with Gmail, okay?
So, quick question. So, is this for the Gmail account? If you already have an existing email account that is associated with your business name, your website, how are you incorporating the Gmail account?
If you already have a Gmail account, that's
if you already have like.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
If you already have a Gmail, if you already have a business account, there is Google Business that allows you to tie in your business account into the Google ecosystem. And now you can tie that in and create a Google identity. But again, we'll talk about that in the business series. Right now, we're just going to do a quick overview. We talked about places. Like I said, it's imperative if you have a Google, a Gmail account, the first thing you need to do is activate your Google+. Once you've activated your Google+, you then want to create a Google business page. So that's a separate step. And again, we'll talk about that during this series. Start the conversation with people. Again, this here is the Google+ platform. And what you can do is, you know how you have like public, when you go on Facebook, actually everybody has, every social platform has the ability to talk to a specific group of people, but I think that Google Plus has made it so that it's easier for people to understand how to do that by creating and promoting circles. So it goes back to what Emealia said. Letting people know exactly what your brand and company does, and not letting it be hidden, right? So Google Plus, when they came out, they introduced circles, right? So circles just means that everybody in here, I put you guys in my AMBCC circle. So now if I have general information, I'll post it to the public. But if I had information specifically related to the AMBCC, I would then share it with the AMBCC circle. And no one else on my social platform would see that information. It would only be sent to them. Like I have a group, I have a lot of content that I do in the Caribbean, and I only share it with my Caribbean circle. And now when they search, they're going to come up, they're going to see that content. All right. So apps for business, and that's what you were asking, the question of how to tie in your apps, your business into Google. They have apps for Google so that you can take whatever current content that you have and kind of integrate it into there. So you'll be able to get the Gmail account and use your website for it. All right? Hangouts, calendars. Calendars also allows you to keep track of everything. We have the Google Plus, Drive, the Doc Sheets, and these are all of the things that are inside Drive. You can even create a site. I mean, that's not really good, so I wouldn't even encourage that. Again, remember what I said. Even though they offer that, you need to have your own site. Okay, so like that's great and everything, but yeah, do you? Okay. Google Hangouts. You have the ability to have a Google Hangout online, which a Google Hangout on air, which allows you to broadcast to everybody like what we're doing now. And then you also have Google Hangouts, which allows you to have a collaborative conversation with a group of people. So if we wanted to have an AMBCC conversation, I can actually create a Google Hangout, and we can have that conversation. I think it goes up to about 12 right now. In that hangout, you can actually share slides, do the shared document as well. In there, you can, if you are a producer, they actually added this a couple months back. You can actually build tracks together. So a lot of producers are now using Google Hangout as a way for them to do collaborative work. So now you have artists all the way in Africa doing work with people in California. You're like, wow, how did you? They're doing it through these new applications. In addition, one of the wonderful things that I like about the Google Hangout process is in a Google Hangout, I can actually do remote access. So if I'm helping you and I'm doing a consultation with you, you can click on the remote access and allow me to take over your web page. So I can actually take over your screen and help you. So if I'm like, okay, well, follow along, and you're like, oh, I don't understand. You say, well, just let me have control of your computer, and I'll show you. Yes, for free. Remember, everybody, can we say free again? Free. Yes, for free. So we can definitely do that, and that's why I really, really enjoy it. We talked about Google Hangouts on air. The calendar. The calendar, you can go into application. If you have if you have a website, you can go on to applications, and you can connect your Google Calendar to your website. If you have an e-commerce page, an e-commerce site, you can actually have people book time and space, and it'll go into your Google Calendar. The beautiful thing about that is if you have the calendar app on your phone, if you're not an Android user and you're an iPhone user, you can get the application, and what it will do is it will remind you. It sends you messages. So when I set this meeting up, 15 minutes beforehand, it sent me a message. Then 10 minutes, it started vibrating. Okay? And it does that. It'll vibrate and it'll tell you that you have a meeting coming up and stuff like that. And it's intuitive. It knows that you need to do this stuff because it's connected to it's connected to your lifestyle. And you can create multiple calendars. But again, we'll talk about that in the calendar webinar. Google Plus, we talked about that. Google Drive, we talked about that. Again, make sure you get this shot, right? Okay, let me turn on my phone, okay? Again, one of the beautiful things about the Google ecosystem and the fact that, they are acquiring so much technology applications is that it's all connected. And there is a totally different experience that you can have through your mobile device, be it Android or Apple. For those of you that like your iDevices, we have solutions, okay? But the most important thing is for you to understand that you can be a part of your business on the go, whether you're on your laptop, your mobile device, or your workstation. You can engage with your inner circle using your social platform, and your social platform can now be your personal assistant. My name is Africa Allah, and this has been AMBCC's Brand Me session. We talked about the Google ecosystem, and over the next couple of months, we will be hosting various webinars to get you ready for success. Thank you so much. Any questions? Go ahead.
Well, it's not about the series, but I've always wanted to know why what we have is an Android and Apple is Apple. I mean, is Android like a fake or a knockoff of Apple?
No.
It's like Microsoft Windows all over again.
Yes. No. Actually, Android is actually cloud-based. It's cloud-based, right?
Oh.
And Apple started out as hardware and software.
Oh.
So everything was on a physical product or on a physical device. Whereas Google, or the Google ecosystem, started in the cloud.
Oh.
They were the evolution of Microsoft and Apple.
Okay.
Of course, Apple was smart, and they decided to catch up.
Yeah.
Like Amelia said, AOL realized that they needed a facelift. Well, early on, Apple realized that they needed to be in that cloud-based system, so they got on board. So it's not a knockoff by any means. If anything, they follow suit. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when I say to my Google Drive on one machine, I'm not saying.
Oh my gosh! Let me show you this thing. It's on your phone. Like on my phone, it can show me all of the computers that I logged into. I have, and I know this is excessive. I have about 5 computers between my 2 laptops, my phone, my tablet, and my 3 computers. Okay, so I have a little more than that, right?
Well,
It is, you know, but my job is completely online, and I don't like human beings. Yeah, I mean, like as humans, I like you guys, but like I like my computer. So if you look here, you can see all of the devices that I'm actually logged onto, and it'll show you. So I can go to, okay, so this is my computer at home. So I can click on my computer at home and see my search, the latest searches. So if I did something at home on my computer and I'm out and I'm like, oh man, I don't remember where I went, I can actually go on my phone and show, and it'll show me, it'll actually show you on your Chrome, there's an icon that drops down that tells you history, and it'll show you all of your devices that you've logged onto. So you'll see it. And in addition to that, in your Google Drive, it automatically saves as you're going, so you don't never have to save. I remember back in the days when I used to do video editing, right? I used to do video editing, and you get through like the best part, and you're like, oh, that looks great. And then you forget, and the system crashes. So now it automatically saves everything, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you don't see it, you just click recent, and it'll show all of the recent updates. And they also had a facelift recently. So I don't want to take up any more time. Eboni, are you presenting today?
I am. Everybody give Africa.
That was wonderful.
I'm going to tell you guys about the Android user experience. What she was talking about, we actually have done a couple of these at the actual Microsoft store. These are great events. So what happens on the user experience, we're going to be doing one in September with these partners right here, where they will, you know, my background was selling. And one of the things I keep telling my partners, I said, you know, hey, you guys, we sell all these devices, but people are not really using them to their full potential. Yeah. So we're gonna be having user experience at different locations for you guys to come in, and people like Africa, Emealia, Eboni, and then some of the technicians there will show you how to get the most productivity out of your tube, whether it's the Apple system, iPod, or Android. We're gonna be doing that so you guys can touch it, feel it, and get that experience. So that's the user experience. So look for that to come up. Somebody else had a question as we transition?
I just had a question.
Africa.
Yes, sir.
The social media part.
Yes, sir.
What's the best way to connect to generations or
Great question.
my social media started out with all of my contacts and took a little time, right?
Okay. Ask me the question. You have all of your contacts.
Right. They took my personal contacts and they tried to get communication. So what is the best way to start the communication process?
I am here. Like, okay, so you know what? I think that a lot of people get really overwhelmed with social media, right? Like, and you can, because it's like, it looks different. It's not the same. But social media is an extension of human communication. So we don't do this anymore. Like, you don't walk up and say, you want to be my friend? Remember in high school, in primary school, it was so simple. Like, you walk up to somebody like, you want to be my friend? And we're like, no, I don't like you. Or whatever. You just go on. Social media is the same thing. You see somebody, they're having a conversation, you like the conversation, you jump in. If you want to be one of those people that just watch the conversation, the communication go on, then you can do that. But if you want people to follow you and engage, then jump into the conversation. The conversations that are already happening, that are of interest, if you're following hashtags or particular topics that you like, follow the topic. That's where you start. Follow the topics and the conversations that are intriguing to you. While you're following those topics and conversations, if there's something that you can add value to, jump in the conversation. Then if you've had those conversations, make friends with those people. run them, plus them, like them, circle them, whatever it is that you need to do, whatever social platform that you're on, whatever the jargon is for that particular social platform, do it.
And just real quickly, each social platform has a different community. You know, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
My Facebook, that's like marketing. My LinkedIn, that's where I handle business. I don't link in with everybody on my LinkedIn. And it's different communities on different platforms. So we're going to get you guys a grid. I know Eboni's going to kind of talk about it. We're going to get you guys a grid to understand which platforms have certain communities on them. But I think your question was that I started off one way. Now, how do I link all this and bring it current? You know what I'm saying? You want to centralize it, right?
Right. I ended up
Right. Because you had some data in hardware. You had like a database over here, and then you're trying to figure out how do I create some customer contacts, that kind of stuff. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. So we'll definitely get with you offline, kind of come up with that solution. I'm surprised somebody asked a question about the calendars, though. I know we got a couple of you guys do appointments and so forth.
Right.
How do I use the calendar too? So I know that's going to come up again. So would that be something of interest for us to get deeper into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so hey everybody. My name is Eboni Green. I am the owner of 2020 Visionary, which is a full-service media agency. We create and manage the online media presence for businesses, brands, and individuals. We create the media that speaks for you. We concentrate on the methods that people use to find you, find your services, find your business. And then when they find you, what do they find? How easily can they find you? Then how do we convert them from visitors to your website, visitors to your social media presence, into what you need them to be? Clients, customers, participants, respondents, whatever it is that you need, how do we convert them? So this is going to be about digital strategy. It's going to be about where your social media presence should be, what you should be saying, how you should be engaging your customers. And then if you have any questions, I guess, let me know. Always camera ready. So really quickly, this is me. This is pretty professional picture. Have a professional picture. It's very important. A lot of people, one of the things we're going to talk about is the fact that a lot of people skip on their media. When I do presentations, I say, if you don't invest in your media, why should somebody invest in your company? Why should someone spend money with your company if you won't even spend money on your company? If you won't spend money representing your company? So if I go to a website and they're talking about their luxury brand and their website is obviously a template, right? You just posted and pasted something and you don't have a correct subject-verb agreement and it hasn't been updated in 2 years, guess who's not spending money with you, right? So this is what we're going to cover today. What did your online presence say about you? Where are your customers online? How did they find you? And we're going to talk a little bit about social communication tools and resources. I'm going to ignore this really quickly. I just want to go through a few things, talk with you a little bit, get some questions from you, and then we'll go through the presentation. Everybody good with that? So here's what we know about business. Obviously, business is all about relationships, right? Social media and digital strategies are built to create engagement opportunities so that people can build a relationship with your brand, with your service, with your business offering. One of the specific ways that social media has changed marketing forever is that it's created a two-way conversation. So it's gone from, here's what I have, here's why you want it, here's why you should buy it, to, I'm going to tell the business what I want, how I want it, when I want it, how I want it delivered, and then the business can respond and give you exactly what you want. That's what social media has done for marketing. Does that make sense to everybody? So before we get into that, let's talk about where media is created for socializing purposes. One of our main purposes, one of our main goals is to create media that's engaging for our clients. What we do is create media from a strategic perspective. So where is your client base? Where's your customer base? What are they talking about? What types of media are they already engaging with? And then how can we create media that is also engaging, that can become part of the existing conversation? One of our main goals is to have videos, pictures, thoughts, products, events that people want to talk about. It becomes remarkable. If it's not remarkable, it's not engaging. If it's not engaging, it's not going to be found. And if it's not found, it's not working for you, right? Let's talk about where the users are, where your clients are, where your customers are. 65% of U.S. wireless subscribers have a smartphone. If you have a flip phone, it's because you don't want to talk to nobody with a TV. 35% of consumers own a tablet, 24% own an e-reader. Right now, 50% of people, of consumers, are performing their digital searches on their mobile devices. Next year, that's going to go up to 75%. If they're looking for a service that you provide, and they go to your phone and look for it, go to the phone and look for it, and you don't come up, you just miss the opportunity to get a client and to get a customer. And so what we do is we place that media in those people's hands through our digital strategies. One thing I need you to be clear about is that people are going to your online presence. I think Africa can agree with me when I say if you're not online, you don't really exist. Like that's what it is. So if you can't do anything else, at least have a website. At least have a Facebook page that is updated, that you update regularly, right? That you're engaging with people on. And I'm not talking personal. I'm talking about a Facebook like page or fan page for your business. That you're posting information and articles and videos about your services and about the industry that you operate in so that you can establish yourself as an authority in that industry. Yes, sir.
Do you think Facebook is as good for B2C or is it good for B2B as well?
I get a lot of B2B clients. I get a lot of small business branding grants from the things that I post on Facebook. And so it would just depend on what you offer and then what the people are looking for that you want to know that you possess. That was a very clumsy sentence. I hope you understood that. Yeah. Anybody else have a question? Let's talk about Facebook really quickly. Facebook used to have something that we called organic reach. But if enough people liked it, enough people were talking about it, you didn't have to pay. Organic reach is over because Facebook killed those algorithms, right? So you have to pay Facebook now. Facebook, your Facebook marketing, if that's part of your digital strategy, is going to have to be part of your marketing budget. Even $10 a day is going to be effective if you're doing it correctly. $10 a day, 5 days a month, will still generate clients, will still generate sales leads and things like that. I think that's like, what is that, $50 a month? Yeah. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. Are you following me? Am I talking too much? Okay. But one of the things about those Facebook posts and even the email marketing, so you were talking about this, is those subject lines. If you don't have a well-crafted subject line, what you want is for people to see it, click on it, respond to the call to action. If you don't have a well-crafted subject line, if you don't have a well-crafted post, they're not going to follow those directions. They're not going to do what you want them to do. And so people don't understand that there is strategy behind this. You can't just say, hey, here's my business on Facebook and expect people to, be your customer, right? You have to give them a reason. What problem are you solving for them? What service are you providing that they absolutely need? Who is your target audience? How are they speaking? How are they talking? What are they talking about? And how can the positioning of your business on Facebook or with the email marketing become part of the conversation that they're already having so that they can click through to the post and then follow your call to action, whatever it is, sign up, subscribe, be a part of, attend, to the point where they are doing what you want them to do. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So let's talk about social media platforms and engagement strategies. BCC is actually using these 5 tools right now. You'll see that Facebook and YouTube are the largest social media channels. Yes.
One question that was asked, like, what are the differences between those platforms? Like, I think that's what Mark was going. Like, which one do I use for business? Which one I do? What's your thoughts on that?
It depends on what your goals are. It depends on where your people are. Within this presentation, it talks about demographics. It talks about the users, where the women are, where the men are, how educated they are, what age they are, things like that. And so that is a good starting place. But you have to remember that in social media marketing and digital strategy that works, you have to incorporate psycho demographics as well. So this group of people likes these things. This group of people talks about these things. It's not just she's black and she's 42 and she makes this much money and she has a college degree, so she obviously wants my product. There's a step, you have to be more targeted when it comes to social media because there's so many people talking about so many things that you want to become part of the conversation that they're already having. So you have to figure out what they're already talking about. So to answer your question, that's market research. You have to figure out who your target demographic is and then create a strategy specifically built for them. If you're targeting women, Pinterest isn't on here. Pinterest is 80% women. If you want to talk about women empowerment and women building businesses and things like that, I would say Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest is where you want to be. If you want to talk about men, you want to talk about leadership and empowerment, LinkedIn all the way, all day, every day. LinkedIn, Facebook, and then Google Plus is where I would find them. But that's just a surface strategy. If you're not going deeper and saying, this is what my target is talking about, these are the activities that they're engaging in, this is what's important to them, then you're not getting the fullness of a digital strategy. Did that answer your question? So, Facebook has 845 million users. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. And so people go to YouTube to find out how to do things. How to do, listen, I'm telling you, both of my degrees are in audio production. I'm actually a trained recording engineer. I have not touched a board in years because I went from that to video to consulting to straight being a businesswoman. But I learned many of my skills on YouTube. Not digital strategy, I really do know what I'm talking about. I pay for that. But like video stuff and things like that, like I really did teach myself how to do like motion graphics and stuff like that on YouTube. Anyway, it has nothing to do with that except to say you can learn anything on YouTube. Google Plus, like Africa said, it's really good for talking to specific groups of people. I want to talk to this group of people about this specific thing. These people are looking for this, and I'm going to have a conversation with them. They're subscribing to me. They're getting my updates for specifically this. So Facebook is a huge conversation. Google is like this conversation. Like it's like this to this, Google Plus. Twitter, I really like, especially for the hashtags. Facebook recently adopted hashtags. One of the things that I tell people about using hashtags, especially on Twitter and Instagram, is that you need to have a specific, if you're going to incorporate hashtags in your digital strategy, you need to have a specific hashtag, and then you need to use general hashtags to introduce yourself to a bigger cloud. Here's how that works. I do a lot of consulting for ministries, for churches, trying to tell them why they need to be online and how to extend the reach of their ministry online. And so I say, I had a church, Grace Church in Durham, North Carolina. Their hashtag is Seek Grace, but they also put, I love my church, and ministry works, and church works, and all these other things. And so Seek Grace is their hashtag, and if you want to know specifically about that church, everything about Seek Grace comes up. But if I want to know everybody that's talking about I love my church, and my church outfit, and church mothers do this, you know what I'm saying? Church mothers do this. Now my church or my ministry or my business is in this cloud of a conversation that already existed. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand the difference between specific and then generic hashtags and how they? I gave an overview, but does everybody understand that overview? Yes.
I guess my concern from maybe a consumer's point of view, you guys are talking about a conversation in the cloud that I'm not a party to. I have written hashtags and put hashtags out there, but I wouldn't know how to go and find out who's talking about my hashtag. Is it generating any buzz? I'm like on the outside of that thing that's going on, you know?
So you can do two things. First thing you can do, obviously, is click on the hashtag. Click on it. See who's talking about it. You want to know who else is talking about what you're talking about, and who are the conversation leaders, and then begin to have conversations with those conversation leaders and those thought leaders. You want to become an influencer among influencers about that topic.
Conversation take place. It's an online.
No, wait.
I'll put it on.
Where are you putting your hashtag?
I'll put it on Twitter. You know, I'll put it on Facebook.
Okay, so you put it on Twitter, and you're in Twitter, and you click on the hashtag in
I
Twitter.
think only people who are my friends can see it. What you saying is the word.
Unless they're private. Do you have a private account?
I don't think so.
If you don't have a private account, then when you use that hashtag, anybody else uses that hashtag, and other people are using it, they click on it, and you are a part of that conversation. Ferguson, right? Everybody knows what's going on in Ferguson. Biggest hashtag in a very, very long time. Social media drove that movement.
Yeah.
You click on Ferguson, millions of tweets pop up. Millions of posts pop up. So if you said blah, 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 something, something, hashtag Ferguson, you click on Ferguson, your name, and then millions of other people's names.
The whole conversation.
Everybody sees it. So if I was talking about Ferguson and I clicked on Ferguson, I would see yours, I would see hers, I would see his, I would see mine, and we're all now part of a conversation.
And I just need to click on it to continue to be a part of the conversation.
You need to click on it to continue to be a part of it. Your hashtag makes you a part of it. And so what happens is you see, you post your thing. Somebody else posts and they say something that you're interested in, you just reply to them. You are able to engage with them and have a conversation with them about what you're posting, about what you're hashtag.
My thing is that I don't get any feedback from my hashtag. Like, I put up a hashtag, what will you do? Right? And people will see it and people will make comments on it. But unless they post it with that hashtag, then it's just like I said, what will you do? You know, and only I'm saying, what will you do?
So, okay. What'd you say? Yeah, that is a workshop.
Okay.
I'll answer your question very briefly. You can't post one thing, but one hashtag and expect a movement to happen. Right? You can't post one thing with one hashtag and expect a conversation to happen. It has to be consistent. You have to consistently use a hashtag that has to be consistently branded with the rest of your company. You have to consistently engage people in conversation, and that's how hashtags work in terms of digital strategy. But I am doing a webinar on Wednesday, and we can talk about it.
You're going to shut down that?
So, this sounds like it requires a lot of time. And to be honest, and it may not, I'm not, okay. So, and enlighten me if it does not. But it sounds like it requires quite a bit of your time. And I mean, I know all of us are business owners. And so I'm just trying to understand, do I need to hire somebody to do this for me? Honestly, because, I mean, given everything else that you're doing as a business owner, generate, and I know this is a means to generate customers there, but it's not the only way. And so, while running your business, so how do you balance the social media demands with your other million other things that you're doing as well?
So, very quickly, my company creates and manages the online media presence for businesses, brands, and individuals. So you can hire us to do that. We have 3 levels of service. We create the strategy, you carry it out. We create the strategy, we help you carry it out. We create the strategy, and we complete carry it out. The more work we do, the more you pay us. Because it does take a lot of time. At the base, right? You be like, I got $5 in the bank. I'm trying to make my business work. Help a sister out, okay? Hootsuite.
Right.
HOOTSUITE. Everybody on it? Everybody familiar with it?
What is it?
I keep telling y'all, tech folks, we basic. But,
I'm not gonna.
That's what
Okay. I got 5 minutes.
Who is Hootsuite?
Okay, all right.
And how do
I'm
you
sorry.
spell it?
I'm sorry. Okay, wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go. Hootsuite. 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 On Sunday evenings, I sit and I schedule my entire social media conversation for the entire week. Right? I can link my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of my accounts with the hashtag and say Tuesday at 2 o'clock this goes out. At Thursday at 1 a.m. this goes out. You don't post anything at 1 a.m. Like right. So okay, that's Hootsuite, and you can also do analytics with that.
Is that Hootsuite.com?
Yes. Get a professional picture. Building a brand. Make sure you're listening. Hootsuite has analytics, so you can find out which hashtags, which posts are working, what isn't working, so you can really start to build basic and then more advanced strategies. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. With LinkedIn, is there a way to turn things on and off? Like, I really don't want, whenever I connect to someone, because that bothers, I think, this is a professional social media to me. So if I just connected with Michael, I don't need all 300 or 500 of my people. I just connected because I really want them to know that I'm about to speak at an event or
okay.
Like
So wait.
There was a turn
I got 2
down.
minutes. Okay. So is LinkedIn connected to your Facebook? Are you saying that
I don't have Facebook.
You don't have
So
Facebook?
it's just
you don't?
LinkedIn. Whenever I connect
Yes.
with someone,
This is
I
your
want to turn it off.
preferences. Go to your name, go to user, like to settings or privacy or something, and it should be one of the options. Because I just turned mine off when I was changing some stuff in my career.
And what do I turn
Good.
off?
It'll say updates. Like, do you want to make your updates private? So look for the words update, private, public in your privacy setting.
So when I want to send something out big, I turn it on.
You can turn it back on. Right. So here's a recap, 90-second recap. Be strategic. Don't just be putting stuff out there on anywhere. Because you put it out there and the people that you want to see it don't see it. They're not engaging with it, and you're talking to yourself and wasting your time. Right? Have a plan. Be consistent. If you're going to post on Facebook, post on Facebook. Post on Twitter. Post on LinkedIn. Become an authority where you decide to become an authority. Know your voice and the voice of your customer base. Don't speak King James Version when your customers are speaking NIV. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't talk up here when they're talking down here.
Yeah.
If your customers are talking down here, talk how they talk, so you can lead them back to you. And then this is very important to me. Create and distribute media that is representative of your company. I started with this. Don't give your son $5 to create a PowerPoint slide and then expect people to pay $100 to come to your event. It's not happening. Invest in your media, and people will invest in your company. This is my information. Call me, email me, come to my website. That's my really rich picture. And I have a webinar coming up on this Wednesday at 10:30. I'll go a little bit deeper into the strategies. I will send that link to Michael and Africa so we can send it out through our networks. Okay?
All right, everyone, we have about 10 minutes before we have to clear out of the entire building.
I have a question real quick. What's the difference between both of your companies?
Ebony in Africa.
No.
That is, no, seriously.
You guys essentially do the same thing?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like we do new media production. They do strategy. Well, we kind of do the same thing, but not exactly. We actually go a step further and produce content across the board, from video, photography, audio, everything new media, and we have a distribution outlet.
Oh. So you're the physical part and she's the analytical part?
Pretty much, yeah.
We create media too, but not.
I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Y'all got any other questions? Great presentation, you guys.
Do you have cards?
Yes.
Please pass the cards out, ladies.
I'll pass for you.
Now, Marquise.
Yeah.
Marquise. So you guys, how many use Facebook? please, or from your phone, please give us feedback on how great it was today. You know, so what's positive. How great it was today. Please go to our Facebook, AMBCC, like us, friend us.